morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to today's PETinar, which has a special focus on PET blow molds and machinery. And a special welcome to anyone tuning in from the USA. Have very happy Thanksgiving to you and your families, and I trust that this will be worth getting up very early for. Now, today's PETinar could hardly be better timed, as we are just a few days away from Brau Beviale, one of the biggest capital equipment trade shows in the world, and of huge interest for the drinks and food packaging industries in Europe and internationally. Brau Beviale has been held in Nuremberg, Germany, since 1978, so it won't be long until its 50th anniversary. It has grown in size and importance over the decades, and this year's edition will see nearly 1,000 exhibitors at Nuremberg Messe across 11 halls. It really is huge. At PETinars this year, we've covered recycling, tethered caps, materials, mould design, and EU legislation, along with other topics that have arisen as questions from the audience, of which more in a moment. And we're very privileged today to have as our guest presenters senior representatives from this PETinar sponsors, One Blow and Röders. Both companies are exhibiting at Brau Beviale. One Blow's stand is in Hall A, booth 511, and Röders can also be found in Hall 7A at booth 301. Our first speaker will be Olivier Perche. He has held the position of sales director at One Blow since 2013 and covering Europe, Africa, Australia, and New Zealand. A very well-traveled man. And we will then hear from Steffen Lühning, sales manager at Röders. He has been with the company since 2010. Now, just before I introduce the first speaker, a few words of housekeeping. We have a chat function which will allow you to pose questions to the speakers. They won't stop their presentations to answer. We will bundle all the questions up until the end and have an open Q&A session. Now, feel free to pose the questions as they occur to you, but don't expect an immediate answer. And please don't use the chat function to say hello or do anything other than post questions if you'd be so kind. And now I am delighted to introduce Olivier Perche, sales director with One Blow. He has over 25 years experience in the industry and has covered equipment for dry and liquid goods, for food and non-food, which has given him the opportunity to establish long-term relations and confidence with customers and with partners in the market. He's very well qualified to present on the subject of heating and energy, and I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say. Olivier, the floor, or rather the screen, is yours.
Thank you, Rory, and good afternoon or good morning to everybody. Also, thank you to PETplanet for inviting us to participate to this PETinar. I'm glad to welcome you here from One Blow in France. We are also a French manufacturer of PET blow molding machines based near Paris. One Blow started its activity in 2010 with steady growth since that time. That is to say, we are now building machines over number 215, something like that now in our factory. We moved to the factory where we are now some years ago in 2014 because we needed more space to build more machines. We have, after that, so in 2017, taken over another building just opposite the road, where we have installed a pilot machine where we can make some trials for our customers. So testing new shapes, new colors, new materials, of course, with more or less recycled PET content, for example. And now, since a couple of years, we've invested in a third building, also in the same industrial area, where we are storing all the spare parts for our customers. Our customers, indeed, can enjoy purchasing, ordering their spare parts directly online. Once they are known as a customer, we supply them an ID and a password so that they can order all their spare parts online or on a dedicated website, which gives them also the possibility to see some tutorials helping them to make some maintenance works, changeovers, and also giving some recommendations for preventive maintenance. As far as our range is concerned, we are manufacturing linear two-stage PET blow molding machines from 1 cavity up to 5 cavities with speeds around 1,000 up to 9,000 bottles per hour, and depending on the machine type, sizes from 150 milliliter or even 100 milliliter up to 30 liters. So that gives a lot of possibilities in terms of size and also output. Also, our machines don't make only simple round machines. We give our customers the possibility to make round, square, oval shape bottles also with a neck orientation, which is a very useful device when you have a flip-top cap, for example. Typical application is for sauces like ketchup or mayonnaise. This neck orientation is achieved mechanically so that our customers don't have to make a lot of changes in the machine when they change preform weight or color, for example. They don't have to reset the camera. It's a completely mechanical system. As far as our range is concerned, it's a fully mechanical machine using servo drives for all the functions, so that all the operators can have an accurate control on bottle quality and on the process throughout all the process from A to Z inside the blow molding machine. From the beginning, we designed our machines to be as efficient as possible, of course, but also in terms of power. In terms of power efficiency, with a few movements, short movements, and with other features I have recorded in a video. I will show you in a couple of seconds, going around the machine and show you all the different items where you can save power using a one blow machine. Our customers are enjoying these advantages everywhere in the world because we export 80 to 90% of our machines outside France. So I will now let the scene to the video I prepared. You will see around the machine, showing you the main features we are proposing to our customers to save power in their one blow machines. And I thank you for your attention in advance. Hope to see you next week on Brau Beviale in Nuremberg. After this company introduction, I will be pleased now to introduce you to the different features which you can find on one blow machines and that help you to reduce the power consumption and thus the production cost of your PET bottles. Please follow me. We will first start where the power comes in, that is to say, the electrical cabinet. The electrical cabinet, as I will show you now, is fully integrated. It is placed here, okay? And so you see everything, every component is here, directly cabled to the drives and sensors of the machine. And it has an integrated power recovery system. That is to say, at the end of each drive phase, there is a braking phase, and during this braking phase, power is recovered by this system and resent to the other drives of the machine, not to your system. There is no interference with your machines, of course. This gives you, or brings you, a saving of 2 to 3%. This is already a good starting point, 2 to 3%, so saving on power thanks to power recovery unit. The next point of consumption, or main consumption, if I could say, of a PET blow molding machine is of course the heating. Let me show you. So here are the ovens. Here are the 3 ovens of this 2-cavity machine which we are in front of. I can open easily each oven. You see, very easily accessible. These are standard lamps. Each lamp can be positioned and adjusted in height and in distance to the preform. And of course, the operator can adjust the power of each lamp directly from the touchscreen, so that he creates a dedicated heating profile for each preform and each bottle. Thanks to this accuracy and thanks to all these settings, so you can already optimize the power consumption of each bottle. But this is not sufficient. We propose you also other lamps, which I will show you in a minute. We call them eco lamps. These are equipped with a ceramic reflector. You can see here this white part, which focuses and concentrates the infrared rays onto the preforms. Thanks to this, you need less power for the same heating result. We measured this power saving with some of our customers, so in real production conditions, some of our customers using one blow machines with and without eco lamps. Same customer having 2 one blow machines with eco lamps and without eco lamps. Depending on the bottle size, they were saving between 28 and 34% power. So you see there, you have a big impact on the consumed power of your one blow machine with these eco lamps. This is not the only system on electricity. We have also a big point of power consumption on a PET installation, on a PET machine, is also the compressed air. And I will show you now where you can save, again, a lot of energy using a better way, the compressed air. We are here so in the pneumatic control system. We have here this first reducer where the 40 bar nominal pressure comes in. You can reduce or you can adjust the blowing pressure to any level. Let me explain to you. The machine has no lower limitation on blowing pressure. That is to say, if your bottle, this is your bottle process that decides or that gives the limitation to the lower blowing pressure. If certain bottles, you need maybe 40 or 38 bar to make a good bottle. Another bottle, maybe you can produce it with 30 bar or even less. Then you can adjust your blowing pressure with this reducer. So let me go more in detail and give you some figures. From 40 bar to 35 bar, this is 12.5% less air consumption. From 40 bar to 30 bar, this is 25%. And from another example, 40 bar to 26 bar, this is 35% less air. So you see already it's a big difference. Taking this in consideration, if you have a compressor sized for 40 bar, and then you use it at a lower pressure, so around 30 bar, then you will use 20% less power. This is the first positive impact. But then take it more in detail, and as you need less air, you will require a smaller compressor, smaller size compressor with less installed power. Altogether, from, for example, 400 cubic meter, you will need, as an example figure, per hour. If you blow at 26 bar, you will need then 260 cubic meter, sorry. From this 260 cubic, you will need so a smaller compressor at a lower pressure, which means the difference between the bigger compressor at 40 bar and the smaller compressor at 26 bar could reach then 50% less power consumption. So there you have a big point of improvement and of saving on your power consumption. The other reducers here we have, this one I will go briefly on it, it's for settings. This is for the pre-brewing pressure, to adjust your pre-brewing pressure, to make a nice material distribution. And this one, important, is on the circuit for the air recovery. Each one blow machine has its own air recovery unit, which, so after blowing, the air comes through this reducer into this 7 bar vessel, and then the air is refiltered and sent to the few pneumatic components of the machine. In other words, you don't need any external 7 bar air for the good running of the machine. I know there is some 7 bar air available in almost all factories in the world, but you will not need that for your one blow machine, which means, again, savings. And let me show you, we will finalize our turn around this machine. Let me show you where this happens into the machine, where we have the beginning of the air recovery system. Each block of valve is equipped with 4 valves inside: pre-blowing, blowing, recovery, and exhaust. So this recovery, as you understand, is opening and then sending the air after blowing to the 7 bar vessel we saw on the other side. As we are now in front of the machine, you see it's a very open architecture, very easy to access, with a few movements and with short movements. A few movements means less drives, less power required, and short movements means also less power required to drive these movements and these transfers, as well as less wearing, so less maintenance, reducing against your production cost on your bottles. Now we have seen the machine, I would say, in a standby position, and I will be pleased to make a short demo in the next minute. And let us run this machine together. I will close the doors. We'll make a demo showing you this machine producing bottles. After that, I will be glad to answer to your questions.
Olivier, thank you for that. Was there anything that you were going to add at the end of the film presentation there, or shall we move on? We will move on. Okay, that's great. And I now know more than I did this morning, so that's always a good thing. Every day is a learning day. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Steffen Lühning, sales manager at Röders. I'm sorry, I probably mispronounced your name, Steffen. But he joined Röders in 2010 and holds a bachelor's degree in business administration, which he gained in 2013. And his responsibilities have included development of the Röders laboratory for PET bottles before he then moved on to become a sales and project manager specifically for blow molds. Now he is involved with customers right from the design phase and works with them on the development, mold design and engineering, and takes projects through to the finished article. He has experience of hundreds of projects, I'm given to understand, and he has a profound insight into energy saving through smart blow mold solutions. Steffen, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for having me here right before the Brau Beviale exhibition. I hope that there will be a lot of customer meetings in Nuremberg and in Germany next week. But I'm also happy to be able to introduce our company again a little bit. So maybe many of you already know Röders as a blow mold manufacturer, but also there should be a little bit more background information to share. And I'm happy to do this within today, and also with a special focus on energy saving blow mold technologies. So I will just start to share my screen for the presentation and hope that everybody can see this right now. So starting from a perspective of an introduction of our company, we at Röders do have 3 sites and around 500 employees and a production area of more than 10,000 square meters. We are based in the city of Soltau, so that is between the cities of Hamburg and Hanover in Germany, so northern part of Germany. We basically are a family-run business since 6th generation. So there's Mr. Röders existing in our company. So our managing director, you see below on the left-hand side is Mr. Jürgen Röders right now. And we are actually making blow molds already since 1975. So almost 50 years of experience in blow mold technologies. And in terms of the capacity, we do have roughly 6,000 molds per year. The big advantage actually is that we are using our own milling machine technology. So the molds which we are manufacturing here in Soltau, they are manufactured on our high-speed milling machines, which we are producing ourselves. So the advantage is that we always benefit from the latest technology, the latest software, and also can speed up the process internally. So easily add machines if needed to give a good lead time to our customers. Yeah, as I mentioned, we were starting in 1975 with the first blow mold projects, at that time for the company Krupp Corpoplast, which many of you knows today as KHS. We also were starting to manufacture the first Petalloid base a couple of years later, and we're one of the first companies using the 3D CAD/CAM technology here in Germany, together with Volkswagen and Daimler-Benz. And yeah, at the beginning of the 1990s, there was the development of the milling machine technology at Röders. So we were able to cut down the manufacturing time for our blow molds considerably. So this is where we benefit still today. And meanwhile, the milling machine business was becoming the biggest part of our company. But yeah, very important still today is also the blow mold team with all the background departments in it. Then afterwards, at the beginning of the 1990s, we also have developed special quick change systems for different suppliers for Seidel, for SIG, Corpoplast, and also meanwhile afterwards for the Krone system. In 1994, we have manufactured the first heat set mold for Johnson Controls at that time, and from 1997 we had an exclusive partnership with Krones. So for a couple of years, we have supplied all the molds at that time to them. We also were involved in the development of the SEPA mold type. So we are very much familiar with all the mold technical details of the 4 big suppliers. Just to sum up. And also at the beginning of the 2000, we went international. So there was the founding of Röders of America and Röders China. And since 2012, we also have a manufacturing site in Vietnam. In terms of our blow mold manufacturing team here in Soltau, yeah, as mentioned, we have developed the quick change system, but also introduced the 3D printing technology a couple of years later. Have engineered a new office building in 2019 for our milling machine department. So that would mean at that time that we have a lot of space for our blow mold manufacturing area here. And in 2019, there was also an investment in a new blowing machine, which actually is a one blow machine. So what you have seen in the video of Olivier is what is running at Röders every day. So the system of the one blow machine is actually very helpful, doing samplings for us every day with new bottle projects for our customers. And we also have the opportunity to install different kind of mold types there. So the benefit is that no matter if the customer has a KHS, a Seidel, or a Krones machine, we can install all the mold types to that machine. We are working with special adapter solutions to adapt all kind of mold styles. So that will allow us to react flexible, and also the customers can use the pilot mold as a spare mold for their production set at a later stage. Yeah, for the remaining years, 2021, we have invested in a new laser scanning machine, which you can see also on the lower picture. So to re-engineer bottle shapes or mold parts, this is very helpful tool for us meanwhile. And this year we also have invested in new equipment for our laboratory. So a new burst tester was installed, and also new equipment for CO2 retention testing. But yeah, maybe as a further information, yeah, we are a certified laboratory, so we can also perform lab testing for all kind of bottle shapes. Yeah, basically the more or the interesting topic for us, meanwhile, is saving energy with our blow mold technology. So over the years, we have developed a low pressure base mold, which meanwhile is available for various formats. So starting from smaller bottles, but also for the bigger formats, for all petalloid, so for the carbonated soft drinks projects. Just to give you an idea of how this looks like. So basically, we are working with a kind of special geometry of our base molds, which have been developed together with our technical team, with our engineering team, and also with our lab team. And we are working with special venting holes and venting grooves to let the air exhaust easily. So this is what you can see on the engineering picture and on the manufactured base mold on this slide. Just to sum up a little bit, the benefits which we see and which we have seen over the recent years in use and also with our customers. We basically see an optimized material flow so that the PET material can get into all the areas, all the base feed quite easily and quite smooth. So that's a good benefit. The special venting channels, which you can see on the picture, will allow to exhaust the air easily and will allow the effect that we can reduce the blowing pressure. So what you probably know as the P2 blowing pressure considerably. So I have a couple of reference projects also with me, which I will show you later. We see that this base also is designed for a minimum of material requirement. So also like lightweighting projects are feasible with this base design. And especially due to the energy reduction, there's also, of course, a lot of saving in terms of the cost for bottle manufacturing. What is also clear and what we have seen over the recent years is that the venting channels do not affect the stability of the bottle. So that usually could be a good question, but that's not the case. So we are very happy to share the information that there's no effect on any kind of stability of the bottle. And for example, for existing projects, it would be only required to change the base cup. So for example, if you're already running a 1.5 liter format with an older standard base, there's only the need to replace the base cup. So no need to invest in a full mold. So that will mean that, for example, if Röders has not been the mold manufacturer for your special mold set, we would require a spare mold for re-engineering purposes, but then we can make sure that the new base mold will fit exactly, so 100% to the existing mold system. And that would be the way of how you can, for example, improve existing projects. Also, some customers are asking if existing base molds can be changed, but that's not the case because we are also working with an optimized geometry. So there's not the option to just modify the existing base cups. You really need to manufacture a new base cup with the special geometry and the venting options. And you also need to know that all the results are depending on the conditions which are on site. So the blowing machine, the stretching values of the preform, maybe also the preform weight is important. So if you want to reduce the blowing pressure, but using a heavy weight for a 500 ml bottle, for example, then yeah, you probably will not achieve the results versus having a light preform option. And of course, also the status of the blowing machine and the maintenance level is very important. Yeah, as mentioned, also it's important to have a complete set of base molds for testing so that you really can run on all cavities. And as mentioned before, in case the existing molds have not been manufactured by Röders, there's the need for a spare mold that we can do the re-engineering process. Meanwhile, the low pressure base molds have been installed in various companies. Just to give you an example, so Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Refresco, Hansa Heman, Carlsberg, Royal Unibrew are one of the companies you probably know where we have installed our low pressure base mold technology in the recent years. And to just give you a couple of examples, what is possible in terms of saving, there's one Coca-Cola example in this slide, for example, for a 330 ml bottle, where the Krones machine was manufactured back in 2015. And there was the blowing pressure before the installation of the low pressure molds of 25 bars. And after the installation of our low pressure base cup, we were able to get down to 17 bars. So as you see, there's already a high potential for saving. Another reference project was for a customer in Belgium for 500 ml axle and ripples. So there were the machines, an SBO 18 Series 2 from 2000 and the Krones S10 Generation 2 from 2003. So machines were a little bit older, but even on these machines, we were able to get down with the pressure from 29 bars before to 20 bars at the level then after installation of the low pressure base molds. What we also are offering and what could be very helpful for training of your operators as well is that we can supply technical service engineers who will help you to set up a good blowing process together with the new base molds so that they understand how this technology will work and what is needed to get down with the pressure. So with our service technicians, there usually is a good way of receiving a proper material distribution that we can get down with the pressure, so reduce energy consumption, and also to make sure that there's a stable blowing process so that also after our technicians have left the plant again, that your operators feel confident with running our low pressure base mold technologies. And yeah, as mentioned, there always will be the training of the operators if they will work together with experienced service technicians. Yeah, the low pressure base mold actually is not available for petaloid bases. So also for other base designs which are working with base feet. So I've another photo, another example for example, for an 8 feet base for juice applications, which you can see in the picture here. So we have invested in that technology and done some research as well, and have seen that this is working for other ones, so other base designs too. So no matter if you have a juice application, a carbonated soft drink, we can make sure that there would be an idea of installing a low pressure base cup, which will fit your needs and requirements. Yeah, just to sum up again, all potential results. So it's just to say it's not the magic that we automatically can get down from 30 bar to 20 bar. So there's a little of background information which always is important. So the stretching ratio of the preform, condition of the mold, the preform weight, the bottle shape and volume, and also the configuration and condition of the blowing machine. Last but not least, I also wanted to share a brief checklist for bottle design, which always is important during these low pressure projects. So for example, we also will work on bottle drawings with our design team and optimize this from a general perspective, from a technical perspective. So in case you're asking for a new bottle drawing, then we always need to know, of course, the bottle size, the fill level, volume, and your headspace requirements. Always important is also the product which you intend to fill, and if there's a certain CO2 level or the use of nitrogen, so that we can evaluate the expansion of the bottle, which might be important for the choose of the right base. And of course, the name of the project is important, the neck finish, the preform weight, so that we can do the volume calculation properly. And also in case you have like main requirements for dimensions. So for example, you want to work already with an existing diameter or prefer to have a similar height, which are meeting your specification from existing bottle shapes. Yeah, labeling, base design, other details as far as you know. So as more information as we have, the faster we are available to make a bottle drawing. And yeah, there will be no questions for getting any feedback. So then we can react quite fast and provide the bottle drawing quickly. Yeah, that's my part basically. Thank you for joining, and I'm interested in seeing all your questions and hope to meet many of you during next week, Brau Beviale.
Steffen, thank you very much indeed for that. That was quite interesting, and I know more than I did this morning. And while you're here, I'll come to you with a few questions first. We have had some flood in. Now, first of all, can I ask you about the low pressure base, and or the low pressure base? Now, how do you still ensure that the bottle? How do you ensure bottle integrity when it is being blown at a lower pressure than has traditionally been the case? Does it only apply to smaller bottles? Do big bottles still need a lot of pressure, or is it a technology that applies across the board?
Yeah, basically we have seen that this technology is feasible for all kind of formats. So no matter if you have a 2-liter bottle or 2.5-liter bottle or 1.5, this technology is really working very well. So we have seen, meanwhile, also 1.5-liter projects, or even this week I was traveling in Poland, and we have blown 1.5-liter and 2-liter bottles with 19 bar pressure. So that's really a technology which will work no matter if you have a small bottle or a bigger bottle. We also see that there's no impact in terms of laboratory testing. So we, as mentioned before, we do have a certified laboratory here, doing a lot of lab testing every day with PET bottles, either blown on our blowing machine on our one blow, or blowing at the site of the customer. And we can say that there's no impact. So stress crack testing, burst testing, thermal stability, all these critical things are showing good values together with our low pressure base design. So we can really say that we are very confident with that and proud of this technology.
Okay, that's great. Now, another thing I noted actually, that you said that that the company now is on its 6th generation of family ownership. That's really something that we're not familiar with in the UK. We're very good at merchant banking, which is get in there, get the money, move on to something else. But with the exception of JCB, we're not really very good at that sort of middle stand thing. And it's very impressive to know that a company is still in the same hands after so long. Now, you mentioned something about 3D printing. Now, what is it that you print, and why? Why have you adopted that particular technology?
Basically, you can imagine that bottle projects are always starting with marketing and technical teams. So it's always, if you're looking at the customers, there's always a big discussion between marketing and technical guys. And at the beginning of a project, it's always helpful to get a first bottle design quickly, which you can put on the table, which you can review, which you can hold in your hand. And we are basically printing our bottles, which we are having on our computers first. So customers can see a bottle drawing and also a 3D view and a 3D rendering, and you can put a label on it and get nice views of it. But holding a bottle with a shape in your hand quickly. So usually we can print samples within 1 or 2 days. So shipping would be extra, of course, but usually customers can get a first view of bottles very quickly. And this is what we are using our 3D printer for, actually.
Right. Okay. So it's for prototyping and then the design process, rather than making spare parts or anything of that nature.
Correct.
Because if it had been, I would have been very interested, because of course 3D printing is great, but it's not really been proven in high stress applications as yet. Well, they're applying it to aerospace, but we'll wait and see. I'll maybe travel by train until they've sorted that one out. So, okay, that's right. Now, yes, a couple of other questions, if I may. Now, what is the average energy saving potential while you're changing from a standard to a low pressure base? So comparing low pressure with standard pressure, how much energy are you likely to be saving?
Yeah, you have seen a couple of samples which I've shared before, but I would say in average we can really reach around about 30% of energy saving. So in many cases we come to a site and the people in the plant, the operators, are working with around 30 bar of pressure. And with the installation of our low pressure base cup and our technical support, we easily can get down to around 20 bar. So there are many customers which with good machinery, with good maintained machines, with good preform fittings, that you can even get below 20 bar. But I would say in average we can achieve a saving of around 30%.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. Now, compressors themselves, as we know, are pretty inefficient users of energy. Something like 90% of the energy that they actually draw off the grid doesn't make it to the business end. By using low pressure, does that help the compressors themselves to become more efficient, or is that outside of your area?
Yeah, probably a little bit outside of my area, but what we have seen already in the past is, for example, that companies were running with 3 or 4 compressors, and once they have changed all their formats to the low pressure base technology, that they really were able to kick out one of the compressors. So that was what we have seen already at customers in the past.
Okay, that's pretty good. I've got to hear a question. Is there an impact? And so obviously somebody who doesn't want to commit to major capital expenditure. Is there an impact if the used blowing machine is already 20 years old? I suspect that might be a British person.
Basically, of course, there will be an impact in terms of getting down as much as possible, but I would say in terms of the percentage of saving, you also can save a lot with an old machinery. Yeah. So we have seen projects where the machines have been more than 20 years old, which have been maintained in a very well condition. So really good machinery, still very good maintenance level. And we really have seen that also with these machines, we were able to get down to 20 bar or something, maybe a little bit ahead of that, but 21, 22, whatever. And if they were coming from 35 bar before, then or even 30, that was a huge step as well. Huh? So of course, with the latest machine generation, you can go down a little bit more. So also running at, I don't know, 16 or 17 bar, which we have seen before. But even with the old machinery, there's a huge saving potential still.
Right. Okay. Great. That sounds great. Yes, but obviously, the more recent the machine, the better the tolerance is, and the better the monitoring, the better the OEE you'll be able to achieve. Okay. Now I've got a question from Jay, whoever he or she may be, saying any improvement on consumption of airflow as well, the pressure flow rate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I must say that I have no answer on that right now. So that would be probably a topic to check.
Right.
Yeah, so nothing
well,
I can.
If you go on to Brau Beviale and ask them at the booth, I'm sure that they'll be able to give you an answer next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Now, is this base technology suitable for light weighting?
Yes, so we have seen many customers who are combining these projects. So they are asking to work with reduced preform weights and do it at the same time the low pressure thing. So we have seen that you can run even carbonated soft drink products with, I don't know, 14, 15 gram preform for 500 ml, for example. So this base design really is good in withstanding internal pressure. So also meeting all the criteria in terms of thermal stability testing and stress cracking and burst testing. So a clear yes that this base design is also suited for lightweighting.
Okay. And finally for you, Steffen, can we get a full bottle qualification with the new base technology, for example, with a lab report according to that complies with our specifications, with the questionnaire specifications?
Yeah. So as mentioned, we do have a laboratory here on site. We can do all the standard tests which are familiar in the industry. So as mentioned, like wall thickness, section weights, and also burst test, stress cracking. And we of course can also work according to the specification of the customer. So for example, if they will share a document with us for which tolerance windows they are looking for, then we can create an individual lab report and qualify the new bottle according to their target windows. So that's a job which we are doing frequently actually in our laboratory, and where we always are interested in investing also into new equipment and stay at the highest level of technology.
Right, that's great. Actually, there is one more question just popped up from Anthony, who asks, is it a patented base technology? Is it your own proprietary patented technology, or somebody else?
So yeah, the question always is in this case, what really is patented? So can you patent a base geometry, or can you patent a special venting system? So we know that, for example, with venting channels and with pin vents, we have worked since many years of blow mold making. That was all the time a topic of how you can get the air out of the molds. So yeah, our base technology in this case is not patented, so we have no patent on it. But the question is, how would you patent this base geometry? Yeah, so I'm not an expert on this field, but I would rather think that this is not possible. So yeah.
Okay, so it's not so much the dimensions itself; it's more the technology that's at low pressure, being able to blow the bases properly.
Yeah,
that's the key thing. Okay, Steffen, thank you very much indeed. I mean, by all means, hang about just in case somebody else pops in with a question. But Olivier, if I could turn to you now, because you've got some questions as well, and one of them is a fascinating one, and it's from Anthony, who just asked the other one again. And you know, as I'm interested in motor racing and turbochargers, and go back quite a long way on that. Good question that they're asking. If there is no need for low pressure, because it is recovered from high pressure, how do you start the machine if there's no blowing at the beginning? I think that's quite an interesting point. Well,
yeah, indeed. Yes, indeed, it's a relevant question. Of course, if you already have started the machine, you've seen in my video, there's a vessel which is already containing some pressure. But if it's completely empty, then I would say during the first minutes, when you start the installation, then we reduce the air coming from the high pressure air compressor to 7 bar. And once this is full, then the machine is working in autonomy on itself, producing itself the recovered low pressure air. Okay, so that's just needed for the first cycles, if I could say, and then the machine is fully independent and has its own takes the air from the blowing cycles.
That's great. Even I understand that. So that's very well explained. Thank you very much.
Thank
indeed.
you.
Okay. Now we've got a question from Jörg Schwarzler. What is the preform limit regarding the neck diameter or wall thickness and the height of the preform? So what are the limits on the preforms?
Well, we have, depending on the machine type, we have some machines that are, if I could say, limited to 38 millimeter neck. Okay, other types that are limited to 53 millimeter neck. And so, for example, the one you showed on the video is quite a big neck. It was, I think, 48 or even 50 millimeter neck. And these are the two main limitations in terms of neck diameter we have. In terms of length or width, we made already some trials with some very thick preforms. I would say over 15, 16 millimeters, so quite thick preforms, and with no issue. I would say in this case you have to adapt the heating process and the machine speed so that you get a nice heat insertion inside the preforms all along the heating process. So in this case, there is no, I would say the limitation is more in the speed, where as we use servo drives, you can really reduce your speed to a low value so that you have enough time to properly heat even a thick preform. In terms of length, I don't have values in mind, to be honest. That depends also on the different machine types we have. Of course, and Steffen was mentioning the blowing ratio, or stretching ratio, sorry, I should say, is a very important factor. So if the preform is not too long, then you have a better stretch ratio in your machine. And of course, the bottle size. If you make a 12-liter bottle, then the machine can take longer preforms than you can if you go to up to 2.5-liter bottles, which are we say two main families of machines we have. 38 millimeter, sorry, machine, so limitation. So this is up to 2.5, 3 liter. And then the other one, the XL type, which is so up to 53 millimeter and 12-liter bottle size.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Now, you mentioned, said something there about servo motors. Now, is there any limitation on the capacity in terms of speed or output or pressure by using servo motors rather than hydraulic, for example?
Well, the big advantage in, or if I could say the disadvantage of hydraulics, for example, that you may have some leakages. And when you are in the food industry, customers are totally reluctant to using this kind of technology. With servo drives, which are today is a very well, how could I say, control and manage technology used everywhere in all types of industries. You have a very fine and accurate control on the speed, and it's a very steady movement. So that's very important, as I mentioned, for a steady process and keep high bottle quality. So for us, it was from the beginning to make it easy. Have only one type of technology, servo drives, no hydraulics in our machines, to make sure that so we control, the operator can control all the movements. In PET blow molding machines or stretch blow molding machines, the hydraulics are usually, or when they are used, this is for the to have a strong clamping force. So it's at the mold closing movement. And on the one blow machine, this is achieved via a servo drive as well. And we have no real clamping system. It's with the compensation coming from the outside of the blow mold, a pneumatic system, where we put so high pressure outside the mold, sorry, just to make it completely close.
Right.
So
okay,
no
yes,
hydraulics at this stage.
All right, I should have said pneumatic rather than hydraulic. Yes, nobody wants greasy hydraulics on in their Coca-Cola, do they? Right.
I can go further on pneumatics if you want, Rory. It's not an issue as well. We have a few pneumatics in the machine, but for example, for stretching, we prefer to, as I was mentioning, servo drives have a constant speed, and stretching speed is a key parameter to have a stable stretching speed and have also a stable material distribution and thus bottle quality. So it is for us, there was no compromise whether it should be pneumatic or servo driven. A stretching device is with a servo drive.
Okay. Now, rather a pertinent question here, as we're seeing the requirement for the use of rPET to be increased to 25 to 30 and 30% and higher. Now, does the usage of our PET preforms affect energy consumption during the production process? And do your customers have any experience while using 25 or 30% rPET or even 100% rPET preforms?
Our customers and our machines have been designed to use different types of preforms from different suppliers, and so different types of materials. rPET is a different material compared to virgin PET. Same if you have 10%, 30, or even 100% recycled PET in your preform. This is, if I could say, different material, so different process parameters. Our customers are making so different process adjustments. I think one key point for the customers using recycled PET is the stability of the material, of the raw material. Okay, if you have a steady raw material, then you will have a steady bottle quality. Some of our customers experience maybe some lower speed, but I did not hear from our customers complaints saying, okay, when I'm going to 25 or 30% recycled PET content, as you mentioned, Ruari, then the speed is getting 25 or 30% down. No, they keep the same speed level. More how could I say, difficulty or tricky for the operator is to get a new process parameter for a new preform, if I could say, or new material type. That is the challenge, I would say, for our customers now, is to use more different materials, so have more skilled operators who can be able to handle these different preform types, or sorry, recycled content types. But we have customers using also 100% preforms with 100% recycled PET content.
Right. Okay. Just briefly, for a 1 litre PET bottle, how much energy saving can you actually say that your equipment does now compared with standard or traditional equipment?
Compared to traditional equipment, as we have, for example, so as you mentioned, no hydraulics, but no pneumatics, as it's all internal and so on, it would be around something like 20%. So, which is really an important figure. Yeah,
it is. It's very significant. Now, do you use eco lamps within the One Blow machinery exclusively? Yeah.
No, it's not exclusively. So some of our customers use standard lamps because the efficiency of the lamps of any infrared lamp is better when you go to higher voltage. Okay, not voltage, sorry, but higher power. So some of them prefer to have a standard lamp at some stages rather than eco lamps. But the eco lamps get more and more demanded and a standard for our customers. They can start with a standard lamp and then switch to eco lamps without changing anything in the machine in terms of controls. Okay, that's very important. The process will change, of course, but they can just swap a standard lamp and put an eco lamp at the same place. There is no mechanical, if I could say, change, or no electrical component to change, to adjust in the machine.
So essentially, as they become confident in the technology, they can switch to eco lamps if it's appropriate. Okay, exactly. Thank you. Now that's actually all we have time for. Anthony, I'm sorry. He's asked if he could have a look at the bottles on a closer look at the bottles on your shelf, but we haven't got time, unfortunately. Thank you very much indeed, Olivier and Steffen, for your presentation, and thanks to both of you, to the companies who have sponsored this thing today. And that's I'm going to get the pronunciation wrong again, but thank you both. It's been very helpful, and I'm sorry I've run out of time and I've got to stop. Thank you. Thanks to our guests, everybody. Cheers now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.